If you are anything like me, you get dangerously hooked on any sort of life simulator game. You already know where I'm going with this, so I'll just rip off the band-aid. Slime Rancher came out on the 1st of August back in 2017, and when this came out on the Switch in 2021, oh my god, I played this for hours. I do own this on my PC, but just as an FYI for people watching today's episode of the show, first off, hi. Second off, most if not all my footage will be from the Portable Edition that's found exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. Yes, I have a Switch too, and yes, I will seize any opportunity to flex it. But mostly because I wanted this episode to feel personal to me, and this is the version of the game that I played the most. Also, thirdly, is that a word? Anyway, I'm sick, so I look and sound terrible. So if you miss my face, don't worry, I'll be back. The whole reason I got inspired to do this episode while I was sick was because of Jason Griffith of all people. You see, while he was recording lines for Sonic Unleashed, guys, it's coming. It's coming. I hear all of you. Don't worry. It's coming. He had a really bad case of strep throat. He still had to finish his work because the recording schedule was very tight. And he did. Coughing up blood and all, but he eventually did it. And you already know how it turned out, so I won't glaze. But again, it's coming. Calm down. So yeah, I have no excuse, do I? Anyway, let's get into it. Slime Rancher is a farming, or I guess life simulator game where you play as Beatrix LeBeau, a rancher who travels to a distant world called the Far Far Ranch. You gotta collect these adorable little creatures known as slimes, raise them on your ranch, and earn money by selling the resources they produce. Meaning, they're shit. The main gameplay loop is simple but surprisingly and dangerously addictive. You explore the world with a vacuum-like tool called the Vac Pack, collecting up slimes, foods, and resources. Back at your ranch, you place slimes into corrals and feed them their favorite foods. When they eat, they produce plorts, which can be sold for Nubucks, the game's currency. With the money received, you invest back into your farm, and yeah, that's essentially the game. Okay, yeah, thanks for watching. Okay, no, but seriously, why is this game so good? It actually, funny enough, has some combat, just like Stardew Valley, with the tar slimes. So, I already talked about slime plorts, but if you feed one plort to your slimes, they turn into a largo, meaning it can be a rock slime and a pink slime combined to one. A pink rock slime, if you will. However, if they eat a third plort, this happens. Unlike normal slimes that bounce happily around, tar are aggressively chased by nearby slimes, chickens, and even the player. This is really the only thing that can damage you in this game. Hell, I don't even think I died once to one of these things. When they catch another slime, they eat it, which can cause a chain reaction that wipes out an entire ranch. Yeah, true story, by the way. I feel like I jumped the gun a little bit, so let me get back on track. I just wanted Jake to know how to deal with these things because he seems to have a track record of playing every single game I review. So you're welcome, by the way. Anyway, this game has a surprisingly deep story. Beatrix, yeah, remember her? She leaves all her friends and probably maybe her girlfriend behind to go explore the Far Far Ranch. She sets out to make a living raising slimes and selling plorts. At first, the story seems very simple. Collect slimes, build your ranch, and become a billionaire. As you explore, however, you begin to find messages left behind by a previous rancher named Hobbs and Twigglers. Wow, that is a really crazy name. I'm just gonna call this guy Hobson. Hobson describes his adventures discovering the Far Far Ranch, finding ancient ruins, and uncovering strange secrets hidden across the island. There's more to this, but I'll let you speculate for now. I should probably mention the various slimes you can get in this place. There's a lot, and they all do kinda unique things, and have unique diets. While the pink slimes eat anything, something like the phosphorus slimes only eat fruits, and they're nocturnal, meaning they die when they're exposed to sunlight. So you gotta have a solar shield upgrade, it's just the whole thing. Boom slimes explode, dervish slimes create tornadoes, and hunter slimes will just fucking kill you. Same with the saber slimes, like geez, these guys are vicious. The most annoying ones to deal with by far are the ones that have a strictly meat diet. Like generally, it's so time consuming to breed chickens. If you ever have a meat eating one, pair it with a fruit eating one, or something, it's easier to manage, I promise. As you collect more species, you quickly learn that different slimes have different personalities and problems. Rock slimes can hurt you with their spiky bodies, same with crystal slimes, and quantum slimes can seemingly teleport. Because of this, simply throwing every slime into a pen together usually ends badly. Good ranchers like yours truly need to think about the containment, food supply, and the unique behavior of each species, making them much more efficient than keeping separate corrals for different species. As your ranch expands, you get access to upgrades that make caring for your slimes much easier. Auto feeders distribute food automatically, plort collectors gather plort trees so you don't have to step outside the corral, and the music boxes help your slime stay calm. Over time, the game becomes less about basic survival and more about creating an efficient system where food production and slime management all work together. What makes the gameplay really enjoyable is that it never feels like a traditional farming game. Instead of tending the crops all day, you also kinda do that, but you're managing a collection of strange living creatures that each have their own quirks. One minute you're feeding a pen of full happy tabby largos, and the next minute you're desperately spraying water onto a tar outbreak because a single plort ended up where it shouldn't have. Again, true story. The balance between relaxation and chaos is a huge part of Slime Rancher's charm.
This weird dry desert place isn't the only place you explore, however.
This was handled way worse in the sequel, but here? Yeah, this is really cool. I know you start in a dry reef, but you have a split path of what Gordy want to explode next. I know, that sounds crazy, but hear me out. So basically, Gordos are like Largos, except they act as obstacles in your way. Feed them their diet and they explode. And they also give you a key. Use the key on a gate and congrats, you locked a new area. The moss blanket is a dense, prehistoric jungle covered in giant mushrooms. Compared to the dry reef, it feels much wilder and more mysterious. This area also introduces hunter slimes and several valuable resources. Oh my god, I didn't even touch upon mining yet. I'll get to that when I get to that. Many people consider this to be the best location in the game, and honestly, I disagree. I don't know why, but sometimes this place just feels like a goddamn maze. Jesus Christ, man. The outdated map you can't even place markers on makes it even worse. The real best location in the game is the Indigo Quarry. It serves as the game's quote underground region, even if most of it is on the surface. Massive caves, rocky cliffs, and the crystal-filled tunnels fill the landscape and easily make this the best area in the game. I never feel like I'm lost here, as opposed to the moss blanket. Here, you encounter crystal slimes and rat slimes, both of which are extremely dangerous than other species found near the ranch. I love rat slimes so much. I know my favorite type of slime is mosaic, but these are easily second place. I'm pretty sure this was meant to come third, even though after the first area, you have a choice. Whatever. The ancient ruins are one of the most mysterious locations in the game, and it's also the worst one. Built with strange architecture and ancient technology, this area raises questions about who once inhabited the far ranch. It's home to the quantum slimes whose teleportation abilities can make them a real pain in the ass to manage. Oh my god. I don't think it's outright bad, but remember when I said the moss blanket was a maze? Yeah. There are genuinely switches that lead to separate sections here. It's a cool gimmick, but some buttons are just way too far from the respective gates, and that doesn't make me confused on what I even fucking pressed in the first place. Granted, this area is still good, it's just the weakest one. Every time I do a new playthrough of this, I just sigh because I know I'm gonna have to go through all this all over again. Now that I think about it, it's even a pain in the ass to unlock. Like, holy, you need 8 floors to put in their respective statues, and you can carry like max 5 at a time. So if you don't have a teleporter, you gotta walk from your ranch, through the moss blanket, then make it to the entrance in the Grey Labyrinth. Wait, no, that's the second game, my bad. The Ancient Ruins. And then you gotta do it all over again a second time. Yeah. The final major region is the Glass Desert. I like this one. Hot take, I know. This massive wasteland was once a thriving ecosystem before a mysterious catastrophe transformed it into a scorching desert. It's arguably the most important area in the game story-wise, and contains some of the rarest slimes, including Dervish, Mosaic, and Tango slimes. Unlike early regions, restoring parts of the Glass Desert requires activating ancient fountains called oases. Is that a word? Nah, I don't care. Gradually bringing life back into the environment. Granted, this takes a long ass time, so I just used to get Mosaic slimes and call it a day. For now, at least. Each area has its own visual identity, soundtrack, wildlife, and secrets. By the time you reach the Glass Desert, you basically bet the game. And ironically, this is where the game actually ends. Pro tip, please use teleporters. Oh, I didn't even talk about the gadgets yet, so I might as well now. But please craft teleporters to get through these areas easier. To start building gadgets, you need to first access the lab, a ranch expansion left behind by Hobson. Once unlocked, the lab allows you to fabricate gadgets using plorts, resources, and specific materials found throughout the world. Many people, including myself, consider this the point where Slime Rancher opens up significantly, because you begin thinking about efficiency, automation, and exploration rather than just simply feeding slimes. One of the most useful gadgets are extractors. These machines can be placed on different parts of the region to gather resources over time. Pumps collect underground materials, drills extract minerals, and apiaries gather resources from... I'm actually not really sure. I assume the humidity, like many advanced gadgets, require rare materials that can only be found and obtained through these extractors. So they become a core part of progression. This is why I need teleporters. Since the Far Ranch is quite large, having a teleporter connected to the Glass Desert or another faraway region can save enormous amounts of travel time.
This is me editing this episode. I meant to say the Dry Reef.
People often build networks of teleporters, linking major resource areas directly to the ranch. Mine looks like shit, I know. I'm still trying to find all the pods in every nook and cranny. Sometimes they have decorations for you, but sometimes they actually have useful shit, like teleporters. One major negative with the system is that you can really only place gadgets where the game tells you can. Rough. Granted, in the sequel it was fixed, thank god, but low-key, it makes my ranch look uneven. Like, just update the game, dog. There are also warp depots, which acts like remote storage boxes. If you're deep inside a cave and your inventory is full of valuable resources, you can send them directly back to your ranch instead of making a long trip home. There's one for the refinery, but there's also one for selling stuff too. Back on track, as you explore the Glass Desert, you eventually discover the final notes left behind by Hobson. In these messages, Hobson reveals that he found an ancient warp terminal that may have allowed him to become the first human to travel through time. However, he was faced with a choice. He could pursue one final incredible adventure, or he could leave the Far Ranch and spend time with the person he loves the most, Thora, someone I'll talk about soon. The note talking about his two doors represents his dilemma. Two doors, but they lead to the same place. And eventually we see the greatest adventure, Hobson, embarrassing last name, picked. Oh. He chose his wife. Wow. This hit me deep. We follow this guy throughout the whole game, tips on how to be a great adventurer. In the end, he picked love. Something we put up for granted. Shortly after reading Hobson's final message, you receive one last star mail from Casey. Throughout the game, Casey, her maybe girlfriend, gave you letters in the mail that talk about memories, distance, and the relationship between them. The final letter serves as an emotional payoff for all those messages. You made the wrong choice. And after you read it, the credits roll. This song is so damn beautiful. This song is written from Casey's POV and reflects on her being separated from Beatrix, while still caring deeply for her. For many people, this is the moment where the game story really clicks. We followed Hobson's footsteps, thought the whole time we wanted to be him, but through his final message, we realized we made the wrong choice. However, Hobson made his choice long ago. Beatrix is still living hers. The player is left to decide whether the Far Ranch is simply a business venture, or perhaps a temporary journey before returning. But who's Thora anyway? One of the more interesting things about Slime Rancher is you never actually meet most of the other ranchers face to face. Instead, you get to know them through the Ranch Exchange Terminal. Thora West is an experienced rancher who welcomes Beatrix to the Far Ranch and explains how the Ranch Exchange works. She feels a bit like the game's mentor figure, not like a tutorial, but okay, fine, she's kinda like a tutorial. Then there's Victor Humphreys, who is probably the strangest and most lovable of the bunch. He's a scientist obsessed with studying slimes and spends much of his time buried in his research. His area you unlock, the lab, is really important, because manifold cubes are used in a lot of advanced recipes. Too bad they're a pain in the ass to get. You gotta go through a simulation and collect these glitch slimes. You can't keep them, they're just kinda irrelevant. However, Ogden, last name I can't pronounce, is almost the complete opposite of Victor. He's a farmer and a food enthusiast who loves growing fruits and vegetables. This is where you find the Saber Slime Largo, or Plorts. You see, the Saber Slime went extinct long ago, and this is the only remnant of them. At least in the first game. Well, there goes lore, I guess. Moshi Miles. She's wealthy, competitive, and constantly acts that she's better than everyone else. She's my least favorite out of the bunch, I'm not gonna lie. At first she can come off as arrogant, but as you learn more about her, it becomes clear that a lot of her attitude comes from her trying to prove herself. There's a complicated relationship with her father, it's a whole thing. Her little minigame involves races where you gotta grab these Quicksilver Plorts. Again, you can't keep these. And then there's Bob. Yep, he sure is. Slime Rancher is just one of those games. A game that takes farming, exploration, creature collecting, and a bunch of slimes and the annoying little shits into something surprisingly special. What starts as, wait, oh my god, stop. I forgot to talk about the modes in the game. Sorry. Nobody really plays this, but in Rush mode, you start with a fresh ranch. You're given a limited amount of time, typically ending on noon on day 5. Your goal is to earn as much money as possible before the timer runs out. Instead of slowly building a ranch over dozens of hours, this is a quick little high score minigame thing. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah. A simple quest to make money off slime shit slowly becomes a lasting adventure filled with hidden secrets, memorable characters, and a world that's a lot deeper than it first appears. Even after all these years, there aren't many games quite like it. Well, I mean, I guess besides Slime Rancher 2. If you want to check this out, it is almost always on sale on almost every platform. You will have a good time with this. Trust me.
Also, I'm no longer sick.